Joining us now on Take Action News is Ben Wickler. Ben he's going to talk to us about a bunch of things, but Ben is the host of We Act Radio's new show, powered by MoveOn.org, called The Flaming Sword of Justice, which he at one time co-produced with the late Aaron Swartz. Ben, thanks for joining us on Take Action News. Oh, well, Ben is going to be joining us very, very shortly, but believe it or not, folks, Aaron Swartz, the person that the revered late Aaron Swartz, who contributed so much and made such an impression on so many people's lives, was producing for a time this radio show with Ben Wickler, The Flaming Sword of Justice. And Aaron Swartz's legacy is going to live on very, very shortly, because The Flaming Sword of Justice is restarting on Washington, D.C.'s own We Act Radio on February 20th, powered by MoveOn.org. It should be a fascinating show. I think we have Ben Wickler with us right now. Ben, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Ben, tell us a little bit about The Flaming Sword of Justice and a little bit about Aaron Swartz's involvement in it and what, if anything, this will mean for his legacy.
Sure. So Aaron was a brilliant sort of computer engineer, as you said, and also a great activist. He was also a wonderful communicator. And Aaron was somebody who loved This American Life with Ira Glass. He loved reading. He was sort of aspired to be a historian or sociologist somehow. And one day, I guess it was in 2011, it was like February 2011, he and I had gone to a party, and afterwards we were sort of talking about things we wanted to do in the world, and I started telling him this idea I'd had for a show that would not only talk about what was happening in the world and what was happening in politics, but would actually engage the audience in being part of social change. So the way that online activists use email to organize people to take action on gun control right now or immigration reform, the idea was you could actually do the same thing with a broadcast show, with a radio show or TV show or online video. And the way that, with any kind of organizing, the telling of stories and involving your audience in those stories is a key part of making them successful. My thought was that you could actually do that much more powerfully with more emotion, more identification, more humor, more fun if you did it, in a medium where you had more than a couple hundred words for a few seconds once a week, if you did that with a daily show. And Aaron got so excited about this, we started sort of building on each other's ideas, coming up with bigger and bigger ideas, and we ended up talking until like 3 or 4 a.m. I was driving a Mini Cooper at the time, and I had driven him home, and we sat outside of his apartment for, I think, 3 hours in this Mini Cooper in the middle of winter in Boston, just sort of dreaming about what was possible. And that night, he went home and he bought our domain name, flamingswordofjustice.com, although I didn't learn that for another year. And we started, plotting how to actually do this. So that summer I was working for Avaz.org, which is a global activist group, and I got Avaz to basically give us a grant to try to develop the show. And Aaron and I both moved to New York that summer and spent several months in a kind of in an unused office in the Avaz main offices in New York, trying different ways to do it. And the challenge of doing a show successfully is that you actually need some kind of platform to do it on. If you just start doing it in your apartment, it can take a while to actually build an audience. So over the first few months, we tried all kinds of things, and making short YouTube videos, and eventually tried recording podcasts, and then thought radio would be perfect, but there was no kind of progressive radio place to start at that time. And I had a call with Cliff Schechter, who's one of the co-founders of We Act Radio during that period, told him what I wanted to do with the show, and he said that he was trying to start We Act Radio, but it was a little ways away from actually launching. And Aaron and I, after spending a bunch of time on it, felt like it wasn't ready yet. There wasn't actually a way to do this. So we both sort of went on to the next thing. I went to change.org for a year for 2012. He actually stayed at Avaz for a while doing a project there, joined me at change.org, then went to ThoughtWorks. He was a guy who did a lot of different stuff.